Good, good.
Hey guys, just a big group today. Welcome to Training Camp 2024. Head Coach Bednar, please a reminder to raise your hand. I'll call on you, and we'll go from there. Jesse?
How's it going, Coach?
Good.
Good. Good summer?
Yeah.
Good. You guys are heading into camp with, last week talked to you guys. I know MacKinnon was maybe, not going to quite be ready. Obviously, uncertainty with Gabe. I guess, do you have an update on Gabe or Arturi, and then just how are you guys going to try to navigate that here over these first couple weeks?
Yeah, so no update really on Gabe. I think his situation's been the same for quite some time in regards to he's doing everything that he can possibly do to get back on the ice and get ready to play. He's certainly making a lot of big strides. There's a lot of hope there. And I think that, his timeline is when he says he's ready to go. It's kind of been the same for a while, and I know he's encouraged by the progress that he's made, as are we. But as far as putting a date on it, we're just not going to do that.
And
Arturi is obviously improving. I mean, you guys have seen him on the ice. He's putting a lot of hard work in, both on and off the ice. Shoulder surgery was a big deal for him. It was pretty bad, and they went in and fixed it, and we're going to try and give him as much time as we possibly can. I would say that he'll be a guy that when he does get cleared to play and take contact, that he'll be close to returning shortly after that. Again, I don't want to set a date on it. I think it's a little early yet. We've got the camp and all the exhibition games. I don't expect him to be a full participant in camp or exhibition, and we'll see what comes after that.
Corey?
A year ago, we were sitting here, and the biggest thing we had to ask you about was Val. We're back
Yep.
here again.
Yep.
Just where, is it similar or different, and just where is the team at with Val right now?
Yeah, reports are that Val is doing well, and he's making progress. And as you know, the suspension is 6 months, which puts him at mid-November sometime. I can't remember the exact date. And we don't really know what that's going to look like yet. We'll get some information from the league here at some point on whether he's going to be able to come in early and start skating with the team on his own, just how much he's going to be able to participate prior to his suspension ending. And then he's back, and we'll welcome him with open arms. He's obviously an impact player for us. It's hurt the last couple playoffs with him being gone. I think everyone has a real strong understanding of that, and we want him back and healthy and ready to participate with us as soon as the league says so, and we're going to do everything we can on our side of it to make that happen.
Troy?
Regarding that, you said with open arms last year, and then now saying it again this year. As a coach, do you have to navigate his return, given that because it happened in the playoffs now basically twice?
Yeah.
Is it something you have to navigate with the room, or do the guys handle that?
No, I think we're going to have some discussions. That's down the road a little bit, and Val's not here. Obviously, players, myself, staff, management, we've all talked about the situation. It's not an easy one. I think that, we'll address it probably prior to Val being here, and then again when Val gets here, I'm sure Val's going to have some things he wants to say to the group, and but understanding again that he is part of our team, and he's a big important piece to our team, and we could use him on the ice, and whatever we can do to support him and make sure that he is able to do that for a full season or from November on, we're going to try and do that, that's kind of about what a team is. It's a family, and you got to roll with the punches sometimes, but there's also got to be some forgiveness there, and I think Val's probably got some things that he wants to say to a team as well.
1 second, then we'll go to Colleen. Go ahead.
Pardon me.
Yep. Sure.
Colleen, then Ryan Boldig.
Coach, what kind of goals do you set for yourself at the beginning of the season for the players and yourself?
It's a pretty broad question. In regards to, are you talking our overall goals as a team?
Yeah, do they change obviously they change every season, but now with the challenges that you have starting this season and not, and the unknowns, what kind of?
Yeah, no, I don't think I don't think they've changed much over the last handful of years for us. I think that we've felt like we've had a team that can contend. Obviously, our goal has remained the same. We're trying to win. We make no secrets about it. I just think it's how the things that change is like how we expect to get there. You know, like what are the things that we need to focus on? What are we putting our priorities on? What have been some strengths and weaknesses with our team in the past? What are they going to be this year? Time will tell. And just, you know, making sure that we're playing with the, championship habits and trying to refine those habits for the most important time of the year is playoffs.
Ryan?
Jerry, are there any other guys who are not healthy coming in the start of camp? And what's your preparation look like knowing, I mean, you're obviously used to not having Gabe at this point, but not having like Gabe or Val available now?
Yeah. And even the Gabe situation has changed, right? Because we have, over the last couple of years, we've been able to like go and replace him. We're expecting him back. So we haven't replaced him because he's, going to be with us, hopefully. You're looking at three very good players for us, top six wingers, all three of them. So there's some holes in our lineup right now. Having said that, we brought in some players that we feel like can compete and should be able to fill those roles, and we'll get big opportunities throughout the course of camp, exhibition, maybe even into regular season. We'll see, obviously if Val's mid-November, we don't know Landy's timeline. Lecky could be late. There's holes in our roster that someone's got to fill. We've got, just for me, within the organization, we have some players that we've been keeping an eye on with the Eagles that have played really well. Guys like Foodie, Olesen, etc. And then you've got Richie coming in who looked great at times during the rookie development tournament. Obviously, great pedigree. We know what his offensive upside can look like. And then we've got free agents coming in. Guys like Belmar, Anala came from overseas. There's been some signings from other American League teams. So it's going to be competitive. You look at the depth we have on the blue line. There's 8 or 9 guys there right away that I think can play for us. At least there's competition for ice time, for opening day roster, and all the players that sort of show up the best here through training camp will probably continue to get more opportunity as camp goes along, as exhibition goes along, as the start of the season comes, and we'll just kind of it'll be a fluid situation, I'm sure, but I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what some of these guys can do. They've been waiting for opportunities on our team, and there's going to be a few to start the regular season, which is a good time to get some young players and new players into the lineup and see what they can do.
Eric, then Megan.
Jerry, you have a lot of new defensemen in Calvin DeHaan, Brandstrom, and Shillington that are probably coming here expecting to play a lot, and someone like Sam Walensky looking to make the jump.
Yeah.
What do you intend on kind of navigating and working those 4 guys into 2 spots?
Yeah, well, time will tell. I mean, it's not really. Depends on how you look at it. It's not really me working them into those spots. Like we talk to our team all the time about getting what you earn. I think they have different skill sets and different strengths and weaknesses. So, I mean, if we're able to keep all those guys, then we'll study our opponent and find out who can fill what roles and what needs we need on any given night. And the guys that best fit that sort of identity that we're looking for on that night will play. But for me, that usually sorts itself out, right? The ice time sorts itself out based on how guys are playing, and the guys most deserving or that earn the jobs on any given night are going to be the guys that get them.
Megan.
What is the expectation for us goaltending year 2 now with a full year playing down the middle under his belt, and with holes to fill on the PK, can we expect him to get more responsibility there?
I hope so. Yeah, we're going to try him again early in the year. Speaking of the PK, it's something we started him with last year. there's only so many of those spots. So again, depending on our lineup and what it looks like, we're going to use the top 6 guys there likely as sort of the forward group we work with. We'd like to get some other guys involved. I think he's a guy that should be able to penalty kill. Middlestad's another guy I think can probably help us and get a few more minutes out of his game depending on how we're using him, as far as ice time goes, we want him at a certain number, and if that means getting him some penalty kill time to get him there, then I'd like to have him on the ice. And again, it'll depend on what some of those other guys, in the lineup look like on the penalty kill and what some of their strengths are. I think it's important for me that everyone on the team has a role and has a defined purpose on our team, and sometimes that means, distributing some of that penalty kill ice time to other guys. As far as Colts, I think the expectations are high. I think that if you look at his game and what he provides and what some of his strengths are with his grit and physicality and his skill and ability mixed in there, it's something that I think our team needs, and I think he can provide it. I want to see him get more consistent, night to night, shift to shift, period to period. I want to see him take another step, and he's a young player still. He was new to the organization, but I want to see him be an impact player every night. That's kind of my expectation for him.
Evan and Rod.
Richie, he's in the weird spot where you can't go to the AHL, but it's NHL or OHL. What would you need to see out of a 19-year-old to say, can you trust this guy at the NHL level?
Yeah, it's not just me. There'll be a group making that decision. Ultimately, it'll come down to C-Mac and Joe. I think that you want to do what's best long-term for him and his development. If we see a role that he can fill and grow into throughout the course of the regular season where he can make an impact on our team come playoff time, then, listen, I'm open to playing kids, whoever can get the job done. I know there's some growing pains, but for me, again, speaking on just the holes that we're going to fill early in the year, the time to get young players in the lineup is at the start of the year, because they can go through your game's never perfect at the start of the year especially, and there's a lot of runway there. So you can live with certain mistakes and a growing period, especially if you're seeing, improvements in someone's game. I don't like to put limitations on players. We've seen young players and other teams come in and make big impacts right out of the gate. Others take time. Everyone kind of develops at their own rate. So we're keeping an open mind and hoping that when he gets in with our group, that he's able to continue to take steps forward and feel comfortable in playing his game and using his skill set like he has in junior.
Rod in the back right.
What kind of carryover do you see from prior seasons, whether it be after the Cup, because you guys have the confidence, or the frustration from being eliminated, especially at the devastating fashion of last season? How much does that carry over from one year to the next, being that many months separated still?
Yeah, no, I think that there's definitely carryover. I mean, I'm kind of getting my, preseason meeting together here, spent some time on it early in the summer, gave it a break, and have come back to it more recently in the last couple of weeks, like just what kind of messaging that I want to send to our team. And you're always going back on your most recent pass, and that's last season. I think we carried over the heartbreak for a couple of years, and and we were able to sort of take the next step and win the Cup, and then it's been heartbreak again for another couple of years. So I know how devoted our guys are, how much they want to win. We've got a core group of guys coming back along with our staff, and I think we take it personal when we don't win, and I think that can be a motivating factor. But every year's a new year, so the group will be different. There's no question. I think you got to go through the season a little bit here in training camp before you sort of decide on an identity. I think the team kind of sorts that out. You have ideas on what you want it to look like and things that that are going to be important that you talk with your team about, and the team will ultimately form their identity based on the way our lines shake out, and see what our team looks like come the start of the season and beyond.
Hi, Coach. John Treason, News. 7 straight playoff appearances, one of the longest streaks in all of sports. How much is that standard a talking point at the beginning of camp?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think it's important for, you know, new guys coming into the organization to sort of understand our identity story and what we've been through. Not just the history of the Avalanche since they've been here and the success that they've had, some of the players that have come before these guys. I think that's important, but more so, say, the last 8-9 years, like since guys like Mac have been here, Mikko, you know, our staff is much the same. I think it's really good for players, new guys coming in, people new to the organization, understand what we're all about, how we want to operate, what we want it to look like, you know, how we treat one another, how we talk with one another, how we support one another. I think it's really important. So it's kind of fed into who we are right now at this moment and what we're trying to accomplish this year. So we talk about it a significant amount early in the year and in training camp.
Corey and Jesse.
You mentioned that you think Val will speak to the team before things get rolling. Just what do you think he's going to need to do, like, or say or do to regain?
I can't answer that. You know, like, I think everyone's got their own opinion on it, even within our room, and I think everyone has an understanding on what he means to our team. I can't tell you what every guy in our room wants to hear and needs to hear in order to have it smooth sailing moving forward. You know, I know that Val cares, and I know, you know, I think that I have to be there to support him, and if I think his heart's in the right place, and yeah, I just want him to be with our team and be healthy and be able to help us and be good at where he's at and stay out of trouble. And if he can do that, you know, I think that, yes, sky's the limit for Val, because I all know how much of an impact player he is for us.
Jesse.
Coach, just kind of building on that a little bit. I know the 6 months weren't up to you guys, but comparing a little bit what you're saying today versus when we talked to you know, Chris and Gabe at the end of the season, was it maybe nice that, again, like I said, I know the 6 months weren't up to you, but to get away from the emotions of it a little bit and have the off season to kind of sit with the whole situation with Val, to kind of, you know, before you guys are faced with welcoming him back, you know, discussions in the locker room or whatever?
I mean, time heals all wounds. I think that, especially in the moment, and understanding again how good of a player Val has been for us and the impact that he makes on our team on a nightly basis, it's a tough loss. It's a really tough loss. So there's obviously emotions that come along with that, because you know, even today we're going to talk to our team exactly, you know, trying to lay it out for them exactly what we need to see from everyone when it comes to effort and attitude and how much they care and how much they have to show that with their actions. And, you know, Val's kind of let us down in that regard for the last couple of years. It's a little different situation when you start dealing with, you know, someone's personal life. I do think Val cares. I do think that he's a really good teammate. So, you know, he's got some growing to do, and, you know, we probably have some forgiveness that needs to happen before we can get to the spot we want to be at.
Time for a couple more here.
Jared, the last couple of years, ERDF's workload has kind of been something that we've asked you about a lot.
Yeah.
Where are you on a few people down the depth chart? Number one, with Eustace and being able to step into a regular backup role, and where are you with the third and fourth goalies? It's like some sort of order of Kevin Mandolisi and Trent Miner, and do you envision wanting to dip into like the waiver wire like last year?
No, I don't know about the last part. I feel really good about where Gorgie's at. I know he had an intense summer of training. He's worked extremely hard. It's a big year for him and for us. Noonan, I got a lot of confidence in this guy. You know, like you're talking about bringing up a young guy and the time to, you know, get him games and feel more comfortable and gain confidence, not just from his own personal confidence, but the confidence that the team has in front of him. And, starting out a new season with 82 games is a great time to do that. I expect Gorgie's workload to be lower if Noonan plays the way I think he can play. So, that's always your goal. If you're healthy, especially, and you have two healthy guys that you feel like can win you games, then you want to try and spread it out as much as you can.
Last two, Colleen and JJ.
Jonathan Drouin had a career season last year. You guys got him signed. What are your expectations for him this year, especially with Gabe possibly coming back and the dynamic of the team kind of changing?
Yeah, I'd love to see. There was so much growth in Drew's game. Again, I think it takes time. You come to a new organization. What are the expectations, the standard of play in almost every aspect of the game? What are they? Get clear on them. Put in the work to improve, whether it be video or on ice work. And he's been a dedicated guy, and we saw major improvements in his game almost immediately last year, and especially on the defending side of it, and just how much we trusted him as a player, and it led to great offensive numbers, especially in the second half of the season. So I guess my expectation would be, if he can play like that for the second half of the season, I don't see why he can't come back this year and pick up where he left off and continue it for a full season and put up career numbers again.
Last one, JJ.
Getting Middlestat back, I guess, how excited are you to have a whole year now to work with him? And you mentioned the penalty kill. Where do you want to see growth in his game?
Yeah, again, kind of the same as Drew. He comes in at a different point in the season, and things are done differently. He's an intelligent player, so he picks up on the systematic stuff right away. I think you spend a long time in one organization and things are done a certain way. My feeling is with him that it probably got a little bit stale for him there. And seeing kind of where he slots on our team and how we play, I think he's excited about it. I think he's another guy that had a big off season when it comes to conditioning and what he needed to do in order to take his game to another level. I think that's part of it. And it'll be an interesting start to the season with our lineup. Like, who's he play with? I really have no idea at this point. But if things go well and we get some of those top six wingers back, I think it's gonna be a game changer for not only himself but us as a team.
Thank you, Jared. Appreciate
Yep.
it.
All right. Thank you.
Coach?
Yep.